some of your background in television and in the entertainment industry.
Okay. Would you like to know how I got started in doing Buffalo Talent Showcase?
Let's start with your let's first start off with your involvement within the entertainment industry, and in general, what were you doing, and basically how your background in that first, and then we'll go to Buffalo Talent Showcase.
Oh, okay. Well, since I can remember, I've been a musician, a drummer, and so music has always been my love. And before I ever owned a pair of drums, I used to beat on the walls and beat on the tables and knock on anything with my fingers and my hands and keep the beat and the rhythm and whatever. But I soon realized that as I got older that I couldn't afford to be a musician, so I had to go into the real world and work. And but I was born and raised in Buffalo, and I left after a few years of college. I left and went to the Air Force, and while in the Air Force, I did a year overseas in Iceland, and while in Iceland, I was a DJ on our site radio station.
Okay.
I was Jimmy J, the mood control, coming at you live in living color with music.
All right.
And so after a year of that, then when I came back to the States, I spent a couple years, 3 years in Florida. And then when I got out of the Air Force, I came back to Buffalo to finish my education. That's why I returned to Buffalo. Many folks told me, man, you're crazy for going back to Buffalo. Buffalo is dying. Buffalo is dead.
Even then they were saying it, huh?
Oh, especially then. Wow. And but I said, no, I have a year to do, get my degree at Buffalo State College, and I'm coming back.
All right.
I came back, and I read in the paper where Sunship Communications was awarded a contract to offer public access services for the city of Buffalo. And I was curious, what is public access service? And I read further, and it said, well, this is a service where average, ordinary citizens can have access to equipment and airtime for TV production, and that they would train you to do this. And I said, oh, what a great opportunity to express myself. And being that music was one of my first loves, I used music as a way of expressing myself, as most musicians do.
Okay.
And and that's when I created Buffalo Talent Showcase. More so to give aspiring musicians such as myself, my former self, an opportunity to continue doing what they love instead of copping out, so to speak, like I did for the mainstream. I feel like a person, if you're born to do a thing that you love, you should stick with it at all costs.
Absolutely.
And so therefore, producing using the wonderful advent of the camcorder.
What was it like? Had you ever worked with equipment like that before?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
What was it like going up there, working with that equipment up at 1420 Main Street and sitting in the classes?
Well, actually, you know, it was a bit scary because of the technology, the camcorder. I didn't. Matter of fact,
still kind of new at that time.
Matter of fact, it wasn't a camcorder at that time. It was the camera pack. It was the camera.
These had those beta cam.
Right, and the decks that you had to carry would be separate units.
I remember.
And then
I remember.
With the advent of smaller computer chips, the camcorder became smaller and smaller, and the clarity became clearer and clearer, and so now you have small 3-chip camcorders that will rival TV cameras in its quality. And I learned more about the technology and about the presentation of programming, and it was like a snake bite. Once I was bitten, it was in my blood, and it's there now. Every day is a learning experience. I'm constantly picking up on things and how TV, movies, even commercials are presented. The production value of it and what's really trying to be conveyed through that medium of television.
Okay. So we're sitting here, interestingly enough, we're sitting here in the very room where you hosted a lot of the segments for Buffalo Talent Showcase, right here in your living room.
My original set. Yes.
With the statue of the little buffalo up there. I can remember many times tuning in to watch your show. Let's see. Talk about some of the what was it like to do that show? Was it a lot of fun? Were there obstacles? Was it an easy program to do? Give us some insight to that.
Oh no, it was not easy. It was only easy in that it was a labor of love. Speaking of my set and my little buffalo here, this I made, it's a little dirty now, but I made this while I was in Iceland as a reminder that I was that I am a Buffalonian, and that is where I should wind up at. And everything that I used in doing Buffalo Talent Showcase was a little bit of sentiment to me. My props, my home, my set. The Green Beret Kids was a regular fixture on my show.
The Green Beret, and who did the Green Beret Kids consist of, by the way?
They consisted mostly of Greens. My nephews and nieces and my children and kids from down the street and friends of any kids that I can get to dance. But speaking of whether it was hard or not, it was difficult in that many people, artists, knew not who I was. So when I would approach, my endeavor was to present a multifaceted array of talent. I did not want to stay with just hip hop or rhythm and blues, or I would like to give it a mix of rhythm and blues, jazz, rock and roll, opera. I don't care. If you were willing to drum forks and spoons on a cardboard box, if you had talent, I was willing to capture it and put you on to give you an outlet for your talent many times. But being an independent producer, as most public access producers are, your time, your limit, and your your time, your money, and your expertise is limited. So many times you have to wear many hats as an independent producer. You have to be.
Don't I know it?
You have You have to write. You have to direct. You have to carry all of the equipment, and then you have to wrap it all up after. Many times I would sit here. I would prop the camera up and then run back and sit and host up the show, and then run back. And
oh, you too, huh?
turn it to the side.
Sometimes I still find myself doing that.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to do whatever you have to do to get your production done, and you try to reach a certain quality standard. I mean, public access gets a lot of criticism for bad lighting, bad technique, bad audio, but it has always been my opinion that a lot of that bad quality is aesthetic to public access. And what the viewing folks have to get around is that this is a pretty amateuristic approach to communication by amateurs, and that it's not so much the picture quality or the audio quality that's more likely being judged by the mainstream media's perspective. It's what's being said that's important. If you have a block club and they're out there fighting crime in the streets, and they're out there with a camcorder identifying problem areas, you're not going to look at the shakiness of the picture. You're trying to listen to what they're presenting, not the quality. And that's the difference between public access and regular mainstream media.
Okay.
It's a lot to it.
So outside of being a public access independent producer, you also wore some other hats in public access television. Would you care to talk about some of your other roles in public access?
Yes. Well, I started doing Buffalo Talent Showcase. That was my mainstay, I should say, in production. I also used to produce a show called the African American Culture Center Presents, and that would highlight the activities of the African American Culture Center. I've also did a lot of other independent productions, but after a period of time, that was back in 1988, and then after a period of time, Buffalo started getting crazy. I say in the streets. That's when a lot of our youth were killing each other. There was people being imported.
We forget.
Right. Criminals being imported from Los Angeles and other places to come in and create havoc in the city of Buffalo, and so therefore, and then a tragic death happened close to my family, to my heart, and then it woke me up to other areas of communication that needed to be addressed. I could no longer just present music in an entertaining way. I had to be more active in the area of getting a message out to stop the violence in Buffalo. And so shortly after that, I became a board member of Public Access in order to ensure that public access stayed alive. See, I believe that many of the citizens of Buffalo take for granted that public access will always be here, or that it will be here and serve its needs. But without active participation from the citizens, aside from just flicking through the channel and periodically tuning in, there's some activism. I think everybody has a duty to contribute to our society and our community. And so public access was a way for me to contribute, to try to make a change, to make a difference in the city. I became a board member, and then shortly after, a year or so after becoming a board member, I became board president of BCTV to try to ensure that public access would stay alive and grow. It was a learning experience. I learned more than I could ever have in any graduate program at any college. It was, I should say, to take it from a popular video going, it was a hard knocks life. But I've survived, and I still intend to remain active and visible in public access, and even
how so
in keeping BCTV alive and addressing the slight in our community by regular commercial television. See, public access is a vehicle for which is set up, designated for individuals or parts of society that has been traditionally underserved by the traditional media. Many of the criticisms that I have received as board president of BCTV is that public access has too much religious programming or too much African American programming. But if you would look at the traditional public access, the African American community is one that has been traditionally underserved by the mass media. So therefore, it goes without saying that there will be a proliferation of African American producers once they're turned on to the opportunity of public access. Now that's the problem. You have to be turned on to it. And right now, there's no organization that's promoting and advocating for strong public access in the city of Buffalo at this point.
Okay, let's see. Lastly, as a public access pioneer, what would you like to see? How would you like to see public access as we go into the new millennium? What would be your vision or hopes?
The hopes for public access.
How public access would fare out as they're going through a transitional period right now.
Well, my hopes is that, honestly, is that the Common Council will make me wrong. I would hope that the Jefferson Avenue project, the Jefferson Avenue Renaissance Project, that's the new projected home for public access at the old Apollo Theater, is proposed to be renovated and creating a new state-of-the-art entertainment center for public access. I hope to see that become a reality. It has been my experience that there's been more politics than anything. I would like to see public access touch every home in a way that each citizen becomes more and feels more responsible to the ongoing funding and participation of public access, because one, it is the only free medium remaining. Oh, not the only, but is one of the most important free mediums where a person can come on and say whatever they want and feel free to say and present their ideal and to hope to enhance their community, their culture, their society, their immediate society, their immediate community, and society at large, only through information. The city of Buffalo has been, and I'm sure everyone has heard this, the city of Buffalo has been designated as one of the, the 5th most segregated cities in the country. Well, the only way you can get past a thing like that is through communication and working together. And public access is one of the true multicultural experiences left and remaining, that anyone from any background, from any area can come together, and especially in the studio sense, where you have many people from many backgrounds working together to get one ideal across, and that's beautiful. I would like to see that, first of all, exist, which it doesn't right now, and if and when it does, again, I hope to see that it flourishes.
Okay. Thanks for being here with us on BCTV Tonight.
My pleasure.
For Public Access Pioneers.
My pleasure.
All right.